Good morning, and we are so grateful to have you here on this Saturday, May 8th. I'm Christy Paul.
Great to see you as always, Christy. I'm Boris Sanchez. You are live in the CNN Newsroom.
So this hour, clergy are expected to rally in March in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. They're demanding transparency and justice over the killing of Andrew Brown Jr.
Yeah, protests have engulfed the small, predominantly black city after sheriff's deputies fatally shot Brown 2 weeks ago with few details about what led to his death.
Now, body cam footage of the incident hasn't been released to the public, but the Brown family is going to get to view more video of the encounter Tuesday. This is after a North Carolina judge issued a written ruling allowing specific parts of the more than 2 hours of footage to be seen.
Yeah, more than 2 hours of footage, but you might recall Brown's family was able to view only a short 20-second snippet of body cam footage last month. Ben Crump, the family's attorney, says there is still hope for justice to be served.
They're grateful that they finally get to see the video, but what they are troubled by, as we all are, is this lack of transparency, that they wouldn't show the videos and they tried to sweep it under the rug. That's why what the Justice Department did today with George Floyd killing, holding these officers federally responsible, it gives hope for families like Andrew Brown.
CNN's Natasha Chen is live in Elizabeth City, North Carolina for us this morning. Natasha, what are you seeing so far? And good morning.
Good morning, Christy and Boris. The clergy here and the community are prepared for a rally and a march that's beginning within the hour behind us here. And it's really a continuation for those cries for transparency that we've been seeing with daily peaceful protests really since Andrew Brown was killed by sheriff's deputies on April 21st. They shot and killed him as they were attempting to serve a warrant related to felony drug charges. Now, that issue of transparency, the sheriff here actually addressed that yesterday in a statement after it was known that the judge would be ordering them to show the family some more video. Here's the statement that he released yesterday. He said, we've carefully read the order from the judge and we will certainly comply with it. Because we're continuing to be as transparent as we can under state law, we will be allowing the family members identified in the judge's order to view the specified videos much sooner than the judge's deadline requires. As you mentioned, that's going to happen on Tuesday. The judge's order had stated that that had to happen within 10 days, so that's a bit sooner than that. And the specified individuals are Khalil Farabee, the son of Andrew Brown, his immediate family members, and one lawyer licensed to practice in North Carolina. So it's not going to be the entire family. It's not going to be the entire legal team either. But it is at least happening on Tuesday. And as you mentioned, there are about 2 hours worth of videos to show from 5 different angles. One point that we want to make is that the judge's order actually says one of the videos shall be released to the family. Not clear, though, if that was meant to say disclosure. At this point, it's the county's understanding that they're just showing the family the videos, but the family believes that one of the videos may be given to them. In the same order, it does say that the family is not allowed to take copies or make recordings of the videos, so they will be just sharing with the public and describing what they see after they see it. Christy and Boris, back to you.
Natasha Chen reporting from Elizabeth City. Let's discuss further with one of the leaders of today's clergy march for Andrew Brown Jr. Bishop William Barber joins us now. He's the president of Repairers of the Breach and the co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign. Bishop Barber, always a pleasure to have you on. This interfaith march today, it's a call for transparency and accountability for the killing of Andrew Brown. What is your message to local officials, not only in Elizabeth City, but in North Carolina and across the country, to the federal government as well?
Well, the clergy from all over North Carolina are coming here today. We're supporting the local because this is a strong community. You know, this is where Elizabeth City State University is. This is where Alex Haley once went to school. This is a strong activist community. And what people want is full transparency, truth, and accountability. Today it's been 17 days since this killing, since this young man was shot in the back. And I want people to know, we already know he was shot in the back because the audio told us that and the autopsy told us that. 4 times in the arm, 1 time in the back. The back was the kill shot. 17 days, and the family has only seen 20 seconds. Now they're talking about a portion of the 2 hours. That is not good. The community has not seen anything. These tapes should be public record, just like the audio is public record. We want truth. We want transparency. We want full release of the tape. We have already said that in this case, there must be accountability. We're calling for federal patterns and practice. And we believe it needs to include not only the sheriff's office, but the DA's office. Because when the DA went to court, he sounded more like the defense lawyer for the deputies rather than the district attorney for the people. We're deeply concerned about the judge, who he is, what's his background, what's his support. We know the DA here once was Democrat, now he's Republican. Not that necessarily is the issue, but the fact that many Republicans are anti these body cameras films being turned over. There's a lot of stuff going down here in this southern area in eastern North Carolina. That's why clergy, black and white and brown and Jewish and Muslim and Christian, have decided to come from across the state to support the clergy here, saying we want full accountability, transparency, trust. And if it's shown that these police murdered or executed this young man, there must be arrest, there must be prosecution, state and federal, there must be payment, and there must be a full pattern and practice review of not only this county, but all of the counties involved and the whole area that this DA covers. I think he covers about 6 or 7 counties in this area.
Now, Bishop Barber, according to the Washington Post, the home addresses of deputies and county officials have been made public, and apparently unknown individuals are reportedly being seen outside of their homes. The judge in this case is raising safety concerns as the reason why there is no transparency with the body cam footage, why it should not be released. Are you concerned that releasing the footage could cause violence?
No, this has been the most peaceful protest that we've seen anywhere in the world. The people here know how to protest nonviolently. This is Eastern North Carolina, 1st Congressional District. We've fought for years down here. That is always an attempt to try to cloud the issue. The violence here is a young man, 42 years old, 7 children, shot in the back. He was unarmed. He did not have any drugs on. That's what they claimed they went there for. He had no gun on him. He was driving away. And your audience should know the Supreme Court, in a case called Terrence versus Garner in 1985, actually ruled that a person that's being served a warrant fleeing is not rationale or reason for officers to shoot and kill them and use deadly force. The violence here has been the violence that's been perpetrated by the cops, and the violence that we don't know all that happened because they've been playing the shell game with these tapes for 17 days. Think about that, 17 days, and the family's only seen 20 seconds. That's cruel and unusual punishment. And all they have asked for is full transparency. That's the violence we need to be worried about. And the holding these tapes is what creates problems. But this community is extraordinarily disciplined. They're not going anywhere. They're deeply rooted in the soil here. We know how to protest here. Let's get these tapes out. And we need to know the backgrounds of these officers. We need to know the backgrounds of these officers. We need to know the background of the judge, the background of the DA. Who do they really support? What is their political philosophy? Because what we have is a 42-year-old man, father, son, nephew, grandson, shot in the back. They had a warrant. A warrant is not a license to kill, and he had no gun, he had no drugs. All of that is known right now. What we have not seen are the tapes.
Bishop Barber, I want you to expand on something that you alluded to here. There have been reports that local officials haven't exactly treated Brown's family and their legal team with decency, and you sort of speculated that perhaps they don't have the family's best interest in mind. Have the Brown family's dealings with officials remained contentious? What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, this is contentious because they haven't seen but 20 seconds of tape. Their son, their brother, their nephew is buried in the grave, and they still have not seen the fullness of these tapes. But they know from the audio he was shot in the back. We heard reports from one of the attorneys that he was cursed at by the officials here. Crump, Bakari, and Daniels, those 3 attorneys that are working, are doing a tremendous job. But what we have seen is stall tactic after stall tactic. Understand, this could have been dealt with very quickly. Within a minute or 2 minutes, they could have asked the judge. There's no law saying they couldn't have done this. At first, the sheriff lied and said it was the FBI that said he couldn't turn the tape on. Then the FBI said, no, that's not the case. So we have a situation here where what we really need is a special prosecutor. When this DA, they have shown themselves inept, incapable, and incompetent for handling this case. We need a special prosecutor. But in North Carolina, the DA has to ask for a special prosecutor. He will not do that. The greatest insult to me was when he went into court and argued that the tape shouldn't be released because in his mind he had looked at her and it was a good shoot. That is not the role of the DA. That is not the role of the DA. There's been no evaluation, cross-examination, or any of that. He's the DA for the people, not the DA for the officers. And so that's why we need a special prosecutor and we need full release. The media hasn't seen, the community hasn't seen. And in North Carolina, think about this. The audio tapes are public. The audio tapes are public. That's how we first knew he was shot in the back. Why are the audio tapes public, but the video tapes are not public? First, they said they had to block out faces. Well, it doesn't take 17 days to do that. It doesn't take that long. This has been a game, and that's the harshness that this family has had to go through. It's wrong. It's undemocratic. It does not meet our standard of establishing justice that's called for by the community. And we believe as clergy it's immoral because it's not rooted in truth. And in this situation, like any of them, only the truth can set us free. That's all folk have wanted first. Truth, accountability. You don't have people here who hate police, who protect and serve. They're concerned about police who claim to be for law and order, but they give unlawful disorder. And we need to know what happened in this college town. We need to know what happened in this town in the Black Belt. We need to know what happened. And if it shows that there was murder or execution, we need arrest. We need prosecution. We need payment. We need federal pattern and practice everywhere around here. I'm from Eastern North Carolina. Let me give your audience a sense of this. I can name for you right now 5 men in Eastern North Carolina that were prosecuted for murder, black men, who we later got exonerated for not even having committed the murder. That's what has gone on in Eastern North Carolina, and that's why people are so concerned and will not take this shell game. We need to see transparency and truth.
Yeah, you would imagine that police and officials would want to get the video out there to show the public that the case that they're making is legitimate, that these officers acted correctly, but they're not releasing the tape, so we don't know. Bishop William Barber, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much.
The governor has called for it. The attorney general has called for it. Legislators have called for it. Preachers have called for it. The only people that are stalling is the judge, the DA, and the sheriff. That's not right. They need to do what's right by this family.
We'll see how much longer they can keep that up. Bishop William Barber, thank you again.